Hi everyone, I'm Michael. Welcome back to World in Focus.
And I'm Mark.
And today is the beginning of an exciting journey, the first in a series of challenges that we'll be running, designed especially for you if you're brand new to photography and you've just picked up your very first camera, whether that's a DSLR, a compact camera, or even perhaps a new mirrorless camera.
So now on this very first challenge, we're not diving into anything complicated in terms of camera settings, not talking about JPEGs or RAW or exposure compensation just yet.
No, that's right. What we're going to start with is the very beginning, really, for any new photographer, and that is learning how to see.
Yeah.
Because no matter how good your camera is or how much technical knowledge you may have, great photography really starts with learning to look and then see interesting light.
So today's challenge really is simple. Put your camera on full auto. Yes, that's right, full auto mode.
I'll have to find that first on my camera.
Don't touch any other settings, no exposure compensation, no fancy file types, nothing.
So we're going to split up, we'll have a wander around. We're in a park located next to the Heide Museum of Modern Art here in Melbourne. So we should find some interesting sculptures and things that have some light bouncing off of them that could be quite fun. The idea is that each of us will capture 5 images that showcase what we believe to be interesting, beautiful, or dramatic light. Now, whether it's natural sunlight, shadows, or reflections, just areas of contrast, or anything that really captures our eye.
So we can choose to present the final images in colour or black and white, whatever you feel suits the light. We won't be talking about how to process the files to colour or black and white in this video. That's for another time, but we do feel that it's important to offer the option of black and white since it helps you to see shapes and tones well. And it's something you can do on your iPhone too.
Easily these days, yeah, definitely. And the point is, this is a personal challenge where we're learning to see interesting light. So we're not going head to head against each other. There's no winner here. It's really just about learning to develop that eye. Now normally, and we really want to stress this, I would never recommend staying in full auto mode. Photography is really all about taking control of your camera, whether that be with your aperture, your shutter speed, or eventually shooting in full manual mode.
And we will cover those in future challenges, step by step. If you follow along with us, we're going to build up a solid knowledge base and a confident understanding of photography.
Today, we don't want camera settings really to get in the way. This challenge is all about developing your photographer's eye. So it's learning to see the world differently, really. Light is the foundation of every good photograph, and you need to learn to see light to produce great photographs. Now, while you can learn photography from a book or even a YouTube video, I firmly believe that you learn best by doing. And so I strongly urge you, wherever you are in the world, particularly if you're new to photography, you've just got your first camera, just try this challenge out for yourself.
And whilst we're not competing, who's going to get the best light today?
Well, let's let the photos speak for themselves. And we will evaluate the images at the end of the video and just go through some of our thought process as to what made us capture that particular image.
For sure, yeah, look forward to that.
Okay, so I've got auto ISO and P for program. So let's go shoot. So obviously this marvellous sculpture lends itself to interesting light. Even in the video it looks quite cool. I also quite like these balls. I may be able to do something with those. We'll see.
So here's a shot I quite liked, just the way the light and the shadow are working with the salt and pepper pots.
So I quite like in this piece, I like the shade, the tones. Obviously it's designed to catch the light in different ways. Let's see what I can pull out of here. I'm going to try the front on of this because I think it's quite interesting, just the different shades that you get from the shape as the light strikes it.
Here's an interesting outbuilding. I've gone for standard lighting here with the sun positioned behind me and avoiding creating a shadow myself. I think this is a potential architectural shot that could be taken back to black and white. So there's a lot of interesting shadows that will come out once this is taken back to black and white.
Okay, so there's an interesting interplay here between the light in the sky and the tree shadow, and I like the light texture that you get from here.
I think coming to somewhere like a museum with some gardens and playing with the architecture, even again with the sun at nearly full height, there's a lot to be said for different architectural type shots where you're using shadows to create points of interest.
So I'm just walking through the sculpture part, which you could of course argue is going to make it easy anyway to find interesting shapes and light, but here's just a leaf I found on the floor. Now it's just blown slightly and the wind's picking up, but let's just see if I can't get an interesting shot of this from maybe a couple of different angles.
And not forgetting when you're at a particular interesting piece to step back and look more broadly at what light is doing, and in this case capturing the full shadow created by the sculpture. Again, a very interesting photograph created by the light at this particular time of the day.
So we've got this beautiful oak tree here, and actually you can see on the video the light is coming through. Who doesn't love a backlit leaf shot? Let's just see if I can find a nice one to shoot.
I cannot walk past this particular image with lovely light reflecting through the leaves, great reflection, deep blues, etc. It's a cracking shot using light.
So this is a sculpture that's really doing all the work for me. I mean, there's interesting light on it anyway, and of course it has some interesting ridges and grooves. Let's see what I can make from that.
Interesting subject when you've got different levels, different heights and parts of the subject within the external surfaces, so you're getting shadow play within, and I think again potentially another black and white, and I like the shadow cast from behind as well.
Well, this is an interesting sculpture. It's just looks like Rio bar that's just been welded together. But even from the video, you can see in the corners there, the light is glancing off those bars in different ways. Let's see if I can get, I mean, I should definitely be able to get some interesting light shots here.
Again, subject matter is not particularly interesting, but there is definitely light playing off different elements of the padlock and the bolt itself. And again, with the textures of the wood, if this was taken back to a black and white, I think you can see light being used quite interestingly to create a composition that perhaps you would otherwise walk past.
Just walking back to catch up with Mark, and I noticed this light coming through these beams here. This is just a building that's on the grounds. It's not part of a sculpture or an exhibition, but it just goes to show that interesting light can be found everywhere if you're really looking for it. Okay, so we're back from the Heide Museum of Modern Art, where we were setting ourselves a little challenge to really chase the light. Now, we set our cameras so that they were on fully automatic. We were having no creative input using our cameras other than, quite simply, the framing with the zoom lenses that we were using. We weren't changing apertures, shutter speeds, anything like that. It was all done by the camera in the program mode. Now, in our search for the interesting light, we decided to shoot 5 images a piece, and obviously we shot more than that. But Mark, let's start with you. These are your 5 images, and I have to say this is your first one. It's an absolute cracking image. You must be very happy with that.
Yeah, I am, yes. I think when we were walking around just having a cup of coffee before we even started the day, I did see the condiment set on the table. There was a lovely shadow just splitting the table in half, and one shaker was on one side, one was on the other.
Yep.
And I hoped that whilst we were rabbiting on, having our coffee and talking about the day, the sun didn't move too far. So
yes.
I literally ran to this shot the minute that we started up our challenge. And in processing it afterwards, I actually felt making it a moody image. It did look quite nice just left alone with the shadows splitting them in half.
Yeah.
The light was very kindly. But I feel like the finished image uses the light to highlight the tops of the salt and pepper shaker.
Doesn't it just? I mean, I love this highlight that you've got on the right-hand side
on the
there.
rims.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So I'd be happy just to finish with this particular shot. I think.
Yeah, but you can't. So let's see your other ones. So this is your next shot of the sort of shed sculpture.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful piece of architecture. It's unique in the way that it's been shaped. And I did think that it would make a great architectural black and white shot. The sun was quite high in the sky. You could see the shadow behind it, so it was illuminated very well. I do think that the light playing on it gave me some opportunity to bring it back to a monochrome. Not entirely sure that the subject or even my skills in the end.
I think it's interesting. I think what you've achieved here is what you're looking at is 3/4 light, and you can see this from the shadow behind the hut. So the 3/4 light adds that degree of contrast on the different textures and surfaces, which I think is fabulous, and that's what I was looking for a lot.
Yeah, I wanted to say that myself, but you put it into words far better than I could do. But to the next image.
Yeah, moving on to the next image. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a set of stairs that, again, the light off the side of the brick wall split the stairs halfway through, and I thought again this would be a really interesting black and white image. When I processed it back to black and white, it didn't look that great, so I've got more of an infrared type tones on it, and it just creates a bit of mystery. You can see half the stairs and a little bit of the handrail poking through. There's also a little bit of the reflected trees on the wall to the right hand side. Not a spectacular image, but it does demonstrate that when you go looking for a composition and you're thinking of light, these were the different elements that come into play.
If I can, this is the one. Could I make a suggestion?
Please.
Yeah, the only area I would suggest cropping out on this one would be to take away a little bit on the left-hand side, because I feel it's just a little bit too central for my. I mean, you know, I'm an architectural photographer, so my taste is. But I would just trim that away. Otherwise, I love this dappled light, and again, this is the sort of light that I was looking for too, because you're getting that lovely contrast, aren't you? And I think that's fabulous.
Yeah, I don't think two people have ever spoken so long about a brick wall and a staircase before. But we move on.
We move on.
This was towards the end of the day. It was a stainless steel sculpture, which I'm sure you spent a bit of time
I did photograph this a lot too, and I'm really pleased you've shown this image, because I shot, as you'll see from my images later, I shot mainly the structure, but I love what you've done with the shadow, and that is fantastic.
So I did probably take 10 or 15 shots close up of different elements of the spheres, because the texture of the stainless steel is quite rough, and the light playing off it, I thought in itself would have been an interesting image. But then stepping back, which I think is a great lesson for photographers, to always look up, look around, step back and recompose. And then seeing the shadow in its totality, I just felt that this image deserved to be seen complete. I mean, some people I'm sure could actually claim we're cheating because we were going to a place with such interesting sculptures and things like that. So, which I suppose is fair enough. I mean, if you look at the lovely light on the underside of the sculpture there, it is fabulous. But I think you've created a fantastic image there. It's a lovely sculpture by Inga King, I believe, as the sculptor. Well done.
Very nice piece. Yeah.
And then just to finish, we had technically finished our day, and we were sort of packing up, and I've cheated by adding this extra image here, but the light coming through the back of the tree and also some side light onto the leaves, and then just that pure reflection in the window of the building, I just felt that was a stunning, well-framed image. I'd like to have done something with the sky. It's either crop it out or just it's featureless, but I think there's enough in the image itself with the reflection in the window and the side light in the tree to make that, again, a nice little story about the use of light in creating an image. So having gone through my 5 images plus the odd few that didn't make it to my final list, let's see what you've got to show us.
Sure. Well, the first one is the sculpture, again, that sort of Saturn sculpture by Inga King that you were photographing. This was, when I mentioned earlier, I was closing in. It's all about the details for me on this one. I did take some wider shots, but I really loved the interplay of light between, obviously you've got that bright highlight top left, but I liked the sort of warm tone of light coming through underneath.
It's very abstract, isn't it?
Yeah, I do like a lot of abstract. Now, I did take this back to black and white, but I decided it works better in colour. I have done some black and whites with this sculpture as well, but for me, that's my favourite. It just has different strengths and intensities of light and colour of light throughout the image. So that for me was what made it interesting. My next shot was, again, looking up at the sculpture. This is, I deliberately tried to frame this to cut out some trees I've missed in the bottom right-hand corner there, but I wanted to get rid of trees, and I just wanted to show the interplay between light as a structure curves. So you're looking at interesting light, and the light obviously changes, or your perception of the light changes, based on the curvature of whatever it's reflecting off of.
But you've also picked up that lovely rough texture in the stainless steel that was there, where the light bounced off it at different angles. So you've done really well with that.
In fairness, it was done for me by the sculpture, wasn't it? But I did. It was nice to see it there for sure. Now, this was, I was walking along and I thought, well, although we're in a park, I could focus on trees, but I just noticed this little leaf that appeared to be almost like I imagined it to be almost like a life raft on an ocean of forest floor. The light was coming through. Now, first of all, I was looking for texture, and I saw it from above, and I saw the ribs on the leaf, and the texture was interesting. I liked that. What I liked when I crouched down was the light shining through the leaf was producing this lovely orange glow.
Yes, it's lovely.
And that to me just really set it off as an interesting sort of little still life. You can imagine, you know, a little, I don't know, elf or something in there.
It's a lovely shot. I'm also jealous of the fact that you can actually still crouch down and take shots like that too.
My knees still work at this stage, thankfully. So this next one is about reflected light, and this is the sculpture, the entrance to the park. It's obviously an O, I think it is, in steel, and it's reflected the light from the stairs. And I really like that texture, sort of mimicking the stairs in the reflection. So
I spent a little bit of time standing at that exact spot and couldn't see a composition. So I think you've done really well there.
No, thank you. Yeah, thank you. I mean, again, interesting light in the reflection and in the stairs themselves, I think. So that's what drew me to it. This was as we were walking back at the end, and this was the building that I think was where the walkway was that you photographed. And this is not part of the sculpture. This is literally just a structure that they designed. But I really loved the way the light was coming through the beams at the top, but also reflecting off of the glass window, which is where you're getting the secondary beam of light from. So I really liked this, and obviously I've taken it back to black and white for the sort of dramatic. You've
got such a sense of depth and multi-layers there too. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, I'm happy with that one. I must say I am. So yeah, that would be my 5.
So nice summary of the images that you saw. Great use of light.
Yeah, thank you. No, I mean, it was interesting because we weren't taking any control over our cameras. It was literally just, what do you see? And that's really the point, isn't it? It's about learning to see and to see great light in any situation. We hope you've enjoyed this challenge, and we hope you've enjoyed following along with us. Now, Mark, I believe they can upload their images if they'd like to take the challenge themselves.
To the World in Focus Facebook page. It'd be lovely to see your interpretation of light as well, and also your comments on any of the images that you've seen here today as well.
Yeah, lovely. So we look forward to seeing you in the next challenge.
Thank you.